Don't listen to the voice that calls in the night. It is not the sighing of the wind in the trees, or the echo of a fading dream. It may be something more terrifying and evil, like the woman in the mirror.
Sally, come to me, Sally. You must rise and come to the mirror. The voice again? I'm sure I heard it this time. It's so clear and commanding.
Like many married women, Sally Kendrick spent her leisure afternoon hours touring the stores in search of that ever becoming bargain. Sally found it, and the headgear of the antique dealer only sharpened Sally's desire to own it. For the money she paid, the mirror was a definite bargain.
Please have the mirror delivered to my address as soon as possible. I'm going to have it refinished and mounted over my vanity table.
I still feel you should know more about the mirror. It has a unique history. If you can spare a little time to hear its history, I'd be.
Sally, of course, was in a hurry. She had no time to waste on listening to silly old legends. Not while there was dinner to prepare. Later that week, the mirror was mounted in Sally's room, a tribute to her trader's instinct. The mirror was a wonderful buy, clear, glistening crystal. It's almost like looking through a window into another room. How strange! I'm not frowning, yet my reflection seems to be, oh, but that's ridiculous.
Of course, it was probably the lighting in the room that was it. The light of often plays trick on the senses. It was the logical explanation, but something inside Sally didn't accept it.
It is a very lovely face, and I don't blame you for staring at it, but it is time we were on our way, darling. Oh dear, I'm sorry, I must have been daydreaming.
Let's get started, Sally. You may be the guest of honor, but it's still impolite to keep the others waiting.
I am ready. It's impossible.
Sally may as well have not attended the party for all the attention she paid to the festivities. Her mind was occupied with the persisting, though incredible, though.
I've never seen you looking lovelier, Sally. How do you do it? Oh, it's you, Hal. I was just preoccupied. Preoccupied. Are you sure your wife isn't in love with another man, Tom? She's been acting mighty strange tonight. Her mind's probably on the month's budget. Sally was the butt of more than one good-natured jib that evening. She neither heard nor answered any of it. Only upon her return home did Sally become aware of things, especially the mirror and the intense, hypnotic stare of her reflection. There was something about her mirror image which disturbed Sally, a subtle, elusive impression that the image was a distinct and separate individual possessing life of its own. Seated at her vanity before retiring for the night, Sally once again studied her reflection. And once again the queer feeling came upon Sally that it was not she who was observing her image. The reflection was studying Sally. There, I'm certain I saw it this time. I didn't change expression, but the image did. No, it can't be. It just can't. Sally was terrible. Sally was terribly shaken. Were her senses deceiving her? Was she given to hallucinations? For days she avoided the magnetic draw of the mirror, afraid of what she might see, of what she might think. One night Sally arose from her sleep in the darkness of her room. A voice was calling her name. Sally, Sally. Why? Who is it? Who is in this room? The voice came from somewhere on Sally's right, where the mirror hung. Fearfully, Sally rose from the bed to investigate. That was a mistake, but how was Sally to know? It was the image, animate and alive, with triumph in its voice and unholy power in its glowing eyes which held Sally fast, drawing her closer, ever closer, ever closer. Sally was like a bird couched in the spell of a cobra's eyes. She felt the full impact of the horror, but could neither run nor scream. The eyes grew to monstrous size. There was a sickening wrench, and Sally plunged into dark space. Sally suddenly felt herself being vigorously shaken, and she woke with a start. Tom stood frowning down at her, but the mirror, that devilish reflection, had it all been just a nightmare? Sally, wake up, wake up. Oh, Tom, I just had the most peculiar dream. It seems to me you've been acting mighty peculiar this past week, Sally. I've never complained, but this last spending spree of yours is too much. I can't afford these things. But Tom, I haven't bought anything lately. I don't understand. Oh, you don't, eh? What do you call this? Snap out of it, Sally. This batch of bills doesn't strike me as funny. But Tom, I never bought these things. I couldn't have. Tom gave up and stamped off, leaving Sally confused and frightened. A week's bills with Sally's signature and mistakenly signed to them. A week had passed. Where had she been? Where had she been? Who had bought those things? Suddenly, Sally knew. It was you. You really drew me into that devil's mirror and took my place here. Well, you'll never do it again. The mocking reflection seemed to grow large and menacing. Once again Sally looked into those evil burning eyes, felt them fasten on her brain. Terror reached out, caught her as she recoiled. Sally vainly tried to cry out against what she knew was happening. The mirror had undreamed of depths. Sally sensed its vastness when she passed through. It seemed like Sally would drift for eternity in that world of black, writhing shadows. When she came to, it was only to find herself imprisoned in the mirror, looking out into her own room, now occupied by another woman, a woman who could have been her twin, the fiendish image. So, you are awake, are you, Sally? Or shall I call you my mirror image? That is what you are now. You know, we've changed places, you and I, this time for good. I waited centuries for this chance. Sally was almost consumed by the utter helplessness of her position, but she could do nothing. She was a prisoner, an illusion. Just then Tom entered the room. Ready, Sally? Don't touch her, Tom. It's a hellish monster you hold in your arms. They were words that Sally tried but couldn't speak. Over Tom's shoulder, the evil impostor smiled her mocking smile. A moment later, Sally watched them leap arm in arm, and she was left alone to despair in the darkness. The prospect of spending an eternal existence as a reflection sent Sally's whirling thoughts in search of a plan to break free. When the evil one returned that night, Sally made her effort. Aren't you afraid to go to sleep, knowing that I am waiting for you? Don't you dare threaten me. I drew you into the mirror, and by all the powers that help me do it, I'll see that you stay there. That was what Sally was hoping for, to get the demon before the mirror, where Sally could hold the full concentration of her will, the very force of her entire being, in an attempt to trap the will of her adversary. What are you doing? No, no, I won't let you. It was it was a silent, terrible struggle for domination. Sally fought with every ounce of her willpower. Something evil and dark screamed in her brains. Sally felt herself lurch outward and found herself on the floor of her room. The voice of her image still clamored and shouted vile oaths in Sally's mind. Sally meant to steal it forever. Her fingers curled about the heavy candlestick on her vanity. Scream, you devil, scream all you want to, but you will never imprison me again, never, never. The screams were suddenly lost in the loud crash of breaking glass. The mirror and its evil occupant were no more. Sally, what happened? I heard a sound like the breaking of a glass. It was my mirror. I accidentally smashed it. Blast the mirror. As long as you are not hurt, I'm not worried about it. You can always buy a new one. And that is what Sally did. She bought a new mirror of a standard make, manufactured without benefit of legend or spell, and guaranteeing a well-behaved image which was content to just imitate the movements of its living model.